I got a question for you. What is the story that you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of? What are the beliefs that you have about yourself? And who put them there? Was it you? Was it what someone else told you? Was it something you heard indirectly? Who created those beliefs? I want you to start asking yourself that question. Our beliefs are a byproduct of years of conditioning, childhood experiences, decades of consuming media stereotypes, hundreds and thousands of hours of feedback from our family, our friends, even total strangers. So that therapy TikTok that you've been watching, or those inspirational quotes you see on Instagram and you're like, oh my God, that's me. Listen, it's going to take more than that to uproot your beliefs and change them. You know when people say, like, just believe in yourself? Listen, Cindy, you can't freaking do that. It's just not possible. You can't just believe in yourself. It doesn't just happen overnight. So all these things that we hear are not really encouraging us or pushing us to take action and change. We don't get to decide what we believe. And I think that sounds kind of funny because we really don't. Even if we really wanted to believe something, right? Even if everything that mattered to us depended on it, we simply couldn't without any action, right? We simply couldn't change our beliefs without trying to take action. So if I told you that a pig could become president, and I said, your life depends on this, you have to believe this, you simply couldn't. We've come really close to it, by the way, but it hasn't happened yet. Our beliefs are a byproduct of the subjective evidence that we have and our own interpretation of that evidence based on our experience. So what that means is if we want to uproot our beliefs and start to change them, we have to pick them apart a little bit and prove to ourselves that it's not helpful or healthy for us to continue believing this thing. They're called limiting beliefs for a reason, right? They're limiting you. You just don't know it. And if you are an athlete or an entrepreneur, we were taught to tell ourselves that we're not good enough to motivate ourselves to achieve something, right? That is ingrained in our being. We were positively reinforced, weirdly enough, when we use that narrative against ourselves, right? If I'm not good enough motivates you to work and then achieve something. But here's the thing. Once you achieve that thing, you still don't feel good enough. It's this like fake thing that we think is happening, but it's really not. And then once you get that accomplishment and use you're not good enough as motivation, you get that thing and you don't feel fulfilled, or you can't even really enjoy your success because you still don't feel good enough, and then you're on to the next thing. After a while, that becomes really unhealthy and you burn out. You're going to burn out. You're going to feel unfulfilled, and all of this chasing after all of this external will dry out eventually. You will be left with an internal feeling of unfulfillment. So I'm going to give you an example of my own experience with my limiting beliefs. And I continuously work on these things all the time. At a very young age, I knew that I was different. I felt like I didn't really fit in with anyone. That was positively reinforced. I was an athlete, so I did feel like I had like that team environment, but I always felt like kind of an outsider. I always felt like there was something different about me. I didn't know what it was, but it led me to this belief of not being good enough to fit in or to play at a high level or to go play D1 college basketball or to pursue something that I dreamed of doing. I just felt like I wasn't good enough. There was nothing special about me. And that continuously was reinforced by other people and experiences that I was having throughout college. And as an athlete, right, I always felt like I wasn't good enough. And that translated into my adult life. When I started my business, when I started engaging in relationships, right? Whether it be friendships, romantic partnerships, whatever, mentorship, I always felt like, oh, there's nothing special about me. Like, I'm just not going to be good enough. Who would hire me as their therapist, right? And these beliefs really controlled what my reality was, until I started to believe that I was worthy and that I was good enough. Things never changed. Now, how I do this with my clients is when they first start with me, we list out all of their beliefs that they have about themselves, good, bad, ugly, whatever. And we start to break down, okay, with this belief, what is the feeling tied to that belief? When you say that feeling out loud, how do you feel? In your body, emotionally, what is that feeling? And then we start to look at, okay, what are the thoughts that are connected to that belief? Or what are the experiences that are connected to that belief? And then once we're able to do that, we look at, okay, what actions are tied to this belief? What are the things that you do that reinforce this belief? And we take a look at that. And we start to talk about some of these things. We start to process some of the emotions that are connected to these beliefs, because let's be real, most of us are not processing anything that's tied to that belief. We're just believing it and we see it as motivation. So why would we change it? And then we start to look at, okay, if I wasn't to believe this thing, what would I want to believe? What are the things that I want to start to believe about myself? And then we do the same thing. What are the feelings and emotions tied to that narrative or that story? And what then are the thoughts and experiences that would be tied to that belief? And then what are the actions that would be tied to that belief? What is the person that believes that about themselves? What are they doing? And are those things that you would want to do? Are those things that you are capable of doing, or that you have proof that you have this impact? Or, somebody told you that this is something that you can believe about yourself, right? Almost like kind of finding proof, whether it's in yourself or maybe someone that you've worked with prior has written you this really nice letter about how much you changed their life, which totally reinforces that I am good enough. I do have something to offer. And I think by doing those things, it can be really beneficial to see those things laid out. Wow, I didn't really realize how much my limiting beliefs were affecting my view of what I'm capable of. And then you look at the beliefs that you want to have, and they're all possible. You have some kind of proof to believe those things. You're just choosing not to. And you're not taking the action to believe those things, right? That's why affirmations for people can be really important, because we're reinforcing that we can affirm who we are, and that we are good, that we are capable, that we are loved, that we are worthy. And I see this so much in a lot, in my clients, is they get up in the morning and they're not looking at their phone and they're not, checking social media, but they are fueling and feeding themselves. Their whole life is different. If they are embracing what they want to believe about themselves and really nurturing themselves, it changes everything. And that is the power of the mind. That is why our mind is our greatest asset. So take some time this week, maybe get out a piece of paper, maybe, take a look at, okay, what are the beliefs that I have about myself? And are they healthy for me? Are they helping me? And are they leading me in the direction that I want to go? Or will it never be enough? Will those beliefs get me to a point, but it'll never be enough? I'll just keep striving. I'll just keep going. And you'll never really feel fully fulfilled. Because our internal world is the only thing that really matters. All that external stuff is well and good, but at the end of the day, all we have is ourselves. And if our beliefs are unhealthy for us, it's not going to help us get to where we want to go or lead us in the direction of what we really want or need. So start to think about that. What are the negative beliefs that you have about yourself? What are the feelings and emotions connected to that belief? What are the experiences and behaviors that are tied to, or what are the experiences and the thoughts that are tied to that belief? And then what are the actions and behaviors that you operate from that reinforce that belief? And then on the flip side, like I said, take a look at what you want to believe about yourself and do that same process. What are the feelings and emotions tied to that belief? Can you even connect with them? And then what are the thoughts that are tied to that belief, or what would you want to think about yourself if you started believing that? And then what are the action steps, or what are the things that a person that believes that about themselves is doing? I hope that was helpful. Yeah, let me know what you guys end up finding out about yourself in this process, and I'll see you next time. Appreciate y'all.